Now, in the aerobic model, we stretched, we want to do some light activity, and then we want to get our cardio up. So at this point, we want to use what I call the power moves, which I'm going to show you here in just a little bit, which is called the lunge and weave and the stance. These are truly aerobic motions using our core muscles, using our legs, buttocks, and our abdomen here and the trunk of your body. We're trying to keep away from using our wrists and our shoulders and arms as little as possible. You're going to get plenty of exercise, but we really want to focus now the energy into our lowest center of gravity and to our legs. That's going to get our cardio up. Then I recommend for everybody, after you've been out in the garden for say an hour or so, you're ready to quit for the day, or even you mowed the lawn, stretch again. Now this is what this is going to do for you. Again, it's going to help with muscle soreness the next day. It's going to help the lactic acid build up. And also it's where you're going to get flexibility gains. You're going to get your most of your gains because your muscles are going to be extremely warm. You've been exercising them. And at this point you can actually stretch a little bit more. And again, that second stretch is extremely, extremely valuable and useful, and I highly recommend it. After that, you cool down just like you would do in aerobic class. Enjoy your garden, deadhead, enjoy the flowers, have a glass of wine, and enjoy what you've created with your wonderful exercise program. There's a lot of people, they say, how would you describe Get Fit Through Gardening? And I say, well, I would describe it as power walking to the supermarket, and every time you do it, they're giving you 90% discount on all your fruits and vegetables. Or it's like you're cycling around the neighborhood, and every time you come back, you have a perennial boredom. It just popped up there because you exercised to create it. So again, the beauty of it is that we're now gardening to exercise, exercising to garden. We want to use this aerobic model, and here's the key, another key component. I really want you to be critical on the tools you use and how you use them. We want to use tools that are pulled, not pushed. Let me show you this. Now I'm going to show you my techniques here. Again, this is highly different than most people garden. But if you try this, take your time, do it gradually. But this motion will really preserve your back. You're not going to hurt your back, and you're really going to feel a lot better. This is pulling motion. This is what I call the stance. Now the stance, notice this tool is unique in that it's pulled towards you. It's a flat blade. It's called the heart hoe because it looks like a heart. And it's available on heartho.com. And I like it because it has a long handle, and it can even be made longer. It can actually add another 12 inches, so it's a full 6-foot handle. Longer tools are good. That's ergonomic, a long handle. And here's why. You want to have a stance like this. This, again, comes from the martial arts. It's a martial arts middle stance. Okay? This is where you have power and strength. You can garden longer, better, and you will get a better workout if you garden like this. Here's the motion. Notice I'm doing this rocking motion, and then there's also a scooting aspect where you could scoot like this. You can actually do it both ways. Now, the rocking is better if I'm hoeing, and then if I was going to be using a grass rake, or if I'm going to be using a rake in the fall with the leaves. Everybody wants to avoid raking leaves. But if you use my technique, notice now I've added a handle, and I'll talk about these handles. They're made by a company called PETA, P-E-T-A, just like the animal rights group. I think you have it's in the back, and if you have my book, they're in the back. But these handles are a good idea. I don't use them all the time because it adds a little bit different grip, force. Usually, like here, I'll be using my bicep a little bit more. But again, notice I'm pulling, and if I'm going to rake leaves, I would scoot, 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 scoot. It's a very fluid motion. You scoot, and then here's another idea, is you actually would turn. And yesterday I found that quite a few people do this. How many people actually have gardened, switched stances? This gentleman here? A lot of people do this, and I'm telling you, I know it might seem odd if you're right-handed to rake left-handed, but you want to do it just for like 2 or 3 minutes. Just switch, because again, it's going to balance the muscles you're using, help your muscle soreness, and before you know it, because of the beauty of gardening, because we garden in seasons, years, and decades, before you know it, everything I'm teaching you today will be second nature. You'll never think of it again, and all you'll know is you have a beautiful garden and you're feeling 100% better. So what we're doing is we're alternate from right to left. We're using a pulling motion. Now here's the other technique. And now this is actually 2 tools. And again, I highly recommend a tool like this because it's optimally used in a pulling motion. And when you pull it the way I do it, it's again going to protect your back, you can get more done, and also it's very aerobic. This is called the Forged Handy Weeder by A.M. Leonard. Now this one actually is the shorter one. Don't buy this one. You want it longer. Longer is better. Ideally it would be actually that long, and you'll see why. It should be about that long, but it's got a blade, very sharp, at a 45-degree angle. Remember what we want to do. We always want to be pulling something, and we're using our legs and our torso. Now this is an arm cuff and hand grip by PETA. And a lot of people ask me about this because it's like the best kept secret. But where you want to talk about power, and again, look at this. Is that not, look at that, does that not look like exercise? But I mean, I could edge a bed probably 50 feet in, probably 3 or 4 minutes, because you're just moving like this, and you've got all your force and all your energy and everything, and you just want to get into a nice rhythm. So we're always pulling. So again, this is the PETA. It's an arm cuff. That's a hand grip. And then this is on the A.M. Leonard tool, pulling. Now, ordinary trowel, don't pull it. You can't pull it. So when you have a tool, anything that you just stab into the ground or push, inherently, in my world, it's not really a good tool. I know you may need to use it some, but I would use something like this very, very sparingly, because there's other ways to dig a hole. A better way would be to use like a post hole digger. Again, everybody think a post hole digger is just for doing posts. That's work, because you're digging 20 posts and you're out there for 2 hours, you're going to be sore. In my world, a post hole digger is a station in my circuit training of exercise. It's just another station. So you use the post hole digger, and again, you want to keep a bend in your legs and just do the post hole digger for say 3 to 5 minutes. Another thing is the post hole digger, because you're pulling out this, will actually exercise the rhomboids, which is when you pull your scapula together. So there's a muscle that most other gardening motions will not get. So it's kind of unique in that you're exercising yet another muscle, but it's a great whole body exercise. Another thing, of course, would be to use a regular shovel. And again, here's the big key here is, remember I said that everything we're going to show you today is to keep you from hurting your back. That's the key. So most people, if you walk around the neighborhood, you'll see them shoveling like this, okay? And what we're doing is we are straight back. We have a straight, well, not straight back, but we have straight legs, and I'm bending my back, and I'm lifting from my back. That's a very, very bad position. You absolutely must avoid that at all costs. That's why I like long-handled tools. Again, we have this stance. Now, something about my stance is very important here. This is a bad stance. This is what I call splayed leg. I don't know if everybody can see this or not, but if you're out like this, notice that my knee is not over my foot. See, this is splayed leg. My legs are out this way. But like this, if you look like you're riding a horse, my knee is over my foot. My knee is just like you're doing a lunge. Again, remember we talked about the lunge? We're lunging in the gym. Your knee is over your foot. If you're in aerobics class, they'll tell you to have your knee over your foot. If you're in martial arts class, they're always going to tell you that in the strong stances are knee over foot, knee over foot. And here is another stance, knee over foot. Gardening, same thing. Knee over foot, and we're going to pick up like this, keeping our back straight. So again, using a shovel. Again, now that's actually probably your only pushing. But if you can push like this, then that's not so bad. It's better than just using a hand tool. I got some other tools here I want to show you real quickly. A lot of people may not have seen this one. Anyone ever seen this? They call it a stirrup hoe or an action hoe. What's really good about this tool, again, it's used in a pulling motion like this, and it's got a very sharp angled blade. Now the handle's a little short on this. This is short. That's not a good thing. It's a little hard for me to get my stance. I'm way over here.